All right, I have a 2011 GMC Sierra 1500. It has the 5.3 liter V8 engine. I was driving home the other night, check engine light came on. Looked at the oil pressure and it was reading all the way to the right. I think it's 80 pounds. Got home, turned the engine off, turned it back on. Now it's reading 0. Did that a few more times. It would either go all the way to the right or stay at 0. Now it currently just stays at 0. So have a oil cinder unit problem. So I went to the auto parts store, picked up a new one, and so we're going to go through the process on how to replace that in this video. So if you have the same problem, stick around, see if we have any issues that you can learn from. This is the new oil pressure sensor that I picked up at the auto parts store. So let's go ahead and open it here. We have the actual sensor part, and it looks to be like a little filter. And so what we'll need to do is locate this part, remove it out, remove the filter, put the new filter back in, and put this part in. So let's try to find it. So it's going to have an electrical connection to it. I see something right here that looks like a sender. This different shape here. So that's probably for the thermostat. So this is for the temperature of your engine. So let's take this cover off, see what we can find. So if we follow the wire harness here, looks like we have something shooting back to this back side. So this is probably the mass airflow sensor for the air. Also something, the air intake over here. It's got to be down lower, so I'm gonna follow this harness. That looks like it goes over to, looks like probably all the controls for the little coils on each cylinder. So looks like this one back here. Oh, I do see a clip. Let me see if I can get the camera in there. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. There's a little clip right there. So I'm gonna check that out. It's way back in there. So let me see if I can get a. I'm gonna check out my book to see if it talks about it. Okay, so I believe I have located it. I put a light here to kind of, hopefully you can see it a little better. I'm gonna use my pointer. So if you look back right through here, there is looks like a white electrical clip, and just below that you can see the thread part. I'll show the camera back in there, hopefully it's picking it up. And here's down further, here's the threads, and here's the electrical connection there. So as you can see, it's in a very convenient spot. This is gonna be fun. So I happen to have a oxygen sensor socket kit, and when I tested the new one of those sockets works for this. So I think between this and I have a couple of swivel joints and some extensions, I'm gonna try to get back in there without having to take everything apart. So if that goes well, I'll put a link in the description to this. I have it for the oxygen sensors, but it's a deep socket that allows this connection to work for this as well. If I can find just the individual socket that works for that, I'll put that in the link in the description too. That way you don't have to buy the whole kit if that ends up working. But if I can't get this to work, then this is going to be a very entertaining video, because I'm probably gonna have to take half the engine apart to get back in there, because I'm not what you would call a small guy. All right, so I am 6'4", just give you perspective, and not to brag or anything. So if you're short, I'm not bragging, I'm just saying I feel your pain, because I'm having to get on a ladder to work in an engine, and I haven't had to do that very often. All right, so I got a little step ladder. I'm gonna remove the light, so it's gonna probably be harder to see. I'm gonna attempt to get my hand back where I have the light to get that electrical connection off. If I can get that electrical connection off, then I should be able to slip that socket on there and then come right through here this direction with those swivels to be able to loosen it up. So that's my game plan. All right, so I'm gonna try to get back in there. I'm gonna see if I can put a board across here, so I can lay my body over it, so that I'll be able to reach back in there. Because I mean, no joke, it is way back in there. I have pretty long arms, but not that arm, not that long. So I'll be right back. I'll try to get it set up and then show you. All right, so I'm about to show you something, but you're gonna gotta promise not to laugh. All right, so I got a mover's blanket here, a couple pieces of plywood, because I'm going to end up laying across here to get back in there. So I made sure that it's you know, on the little I don't know what you call it, frame stiffener. Here, I'll show you on the other side. It's just the black bolted in, help support the fender. I have it resting on that corner and then coming across the front here. So I'll stick another moving blanket over just to pad it a little bit so I can get back in there. Alright, so I feel it. Definitely has wires going to it. Some kind of rubber hose in the way. Let's see if I can pull that hose out of the way. Oh, there we go. Oh, I just found something I gotta show you. I got this rubber hose here. I just lifted it up over. And popped it into here, which gave me way more room to reach back in there. So there was definitely enough flex in there to be able to do that without hurting anything. So I wanted to share that, because that, as soon as I did that, I was able to actually get my whole hand on the unit. I'll see if I can get that slid on there. Okay, where's the nut? There it is. Oh yeah, this slides right on that. Okay, so I have swivels for a half drive, but 3/8 are so much smaller, so I just have a little adapter go from the 1/2 inch to 3/8, so that when I put these swivel guys on there, they're smaller instead of having the big 1/2 inch ones down in there. So I'm just gonna add some of these together, see if I can get it back on there, be able to get a socket, be able to get a ratchet on there. All right. Don't try. That's a lot of turns to get through. Oh, I felt it. Let me see if... Okay. flashing light. Yeah, definitely got it loose enough to get it by hand. But there's not much room around the socket for my fingers, so little tiny turns at a time. Here's a plastic guard. I'm just gonna take the socket off. There we go. So once you get it popped loose, it's easier to take socket off because there's a plastic shroud, I guess you could say, that if you loosen it up too much, the top of the socket hits it. So, all right, let's pull this out. So here's the old one. So they look the same. So now we gotta get that little filter. All right, so this little filter has a plastic, little plastic ring. So I'm gonna see if I could get it out with this. There we go. Okay. So just stuck this down in there, grabbed it, and then it popped right out. A little O-ring on it. So let's get the new one in. I don't know if you can see this, but there's a little O-ring in the center of it, so there's probably a little groove for that to pop into. So I'm gonna put it in by hand, see if I can feel. Oh yeah. So if you push it in there, push it down in the hole, you'll feel it set against that, and then just give it a little nudge. That was an exaggeration, but give it a little nudge, and it just sits, it just easily pops into that little groove there. All right, these already have some thread sealer, looks like, on there. So let's get the new one. There's also, looks like a, I don't know if they're aluminum or stainless steel washer that's on there. All right. So with it, you can't see it, so I always go by feel. I actually go like loosen and spin it as I'm loosening it until I can feel it like drop in the little teeth. So I know that that's a good starting point. So I'm trying to get that feel of the angle for it. There it goes. Yeah, and that it easily tightens down until it gets to those little, whatever that sealer stuff they have painted on there. All right, so reverse process, we're gonna put that socket back on. So as you can see, we have oil pressure again. So check engine light still on, but I probably have to use my OBD2 reader and reset the code. But it looks like we got that fixed. I'll put the OBD2 reader on, see if there's another issue, but definitely fixed one of them. All right, let's do a quick recap. So one is located on the back of the engine, under the hood, way back in there. recommend putting something across here so you can lay up over there. Having a little step stool definitely helped. Here are some key features that I learned. One, having this 27mm socket that's really deep, to be able to slide over there because you really just feel, and using these little knuckle swivel joints with some extensions easily allow me to break that loose. I would recommend immediately taking the socket off, because what I learned is if you keep backing it off with the socket on there, there's a little plastic guard that it hits, and then once you loosen it up too much, you can't get the socket off there. So I had to tighten it back down, slip that off, and then go back in and undo it by hand. In order to get the socket on there, I had to take the electrical connection. There was a little, not only did it plug on there, but there was a little plastic lock that I had to use a little pick to push in there to pop off. So having some kind of little pick tool to be able to slide that clip off there was key, along with the socket. So I'll put a link in the description to be able to help you easily do this if you have to replace one of these oil sensors. Also, this same pick was key when I had to take the little filter out. I was able to reach down in there and pop it off. There's just a little O-ring on there that held it in there. So once you have that off, do the reverse order, pop the new filter in the hole, and then push down with your finger. You'll feel that O-ring set in the groove. Once you have that on there, do the reverse order. You can screw the new one on, hand tight, put the socket on there, and get it tightened up. What I did at that point is started the motor to make sure I wasn't leaking before I hooked up the electric connection. Felt around, didn't feel any oil coming out, and so then I plugged the connector back on there, started back up, and then started receiving oil pressure again. So consider this a good fix. Thanks for watching. If you have any feedback on the comment because you've done this job or saw that I could have done something easier, leave a comment below so we can all learn from each other and help speed up the process. Thanks for watching.